Hello, bonjour, greetings à tout le monde. From your homes to mine, I greet you all. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Go ahead, share the live. My name is Lady Marilyne Keto. I'm back again with another session of wisdom. I am more than excited to come to you again with our brother, someone, trust me, who bless you. Most Congolese or African children, when they come in this country, they expected to become doctors, lawyers. But this one goes on the other extreme to becoming filmmaker. How was it? How was it? How did the parents, you know, encourage or receive this news? How was it? They will tell us. All right. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. We have a motto here. We want to touch 1% at least. After each session of sharing, we want at least to have 1% to be changed. Because we know if we touch that 1% also has another person who will tell another person, and that's how we touch lives. Again, as I was saying, we are Live Gospel Ministries. We have an album out, King of Kings. It's all over YouTube, Facebook, Spotify. Check us out. Listen to something, just to get blessed. I believe you will be. All right, without further ado, I will welcome my guests. All right, drum rolls. Boom. Hello, hello, brother.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? God bless. God.
God bless you too, brother. God bless you. I'm more than happy to have you here. I'm more than blessed. So, can you tell us? Some people like you already. Some people know you. Others don't know you. Could you tell us who are you?
Well, thank you for having me. First of all, it's an honor, pleasure. I enjoy watching you. I enjoy watching your show. You guys are doing an
God bless.
awesome job, fantastic
God
job.
bless.
Thank you, thank you. Um, I mean, I don't really have much to say about me. My name is Ino Sita. I
Mhm,
am a filmmaker. I'm from Congo, Kinshasa. I've been in California for quite some years, and now I am currently living in Atlanta, Georgia. It's been 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
Uh, I'm a husband. I'm a father of one, and just being blessed by the glory of God.
Congrats again on that son. Congrats. Would you tell us now, Papa Ino, how did you get started? How did all of this start? Filmmaking, production. How was it?
You know, it's one of those things where you knew that's what you wanted to do, but you
Hmm.
just didn't know how people around you will take it. You didn't
Okay.
know if people will take you seriously. You didn't know if that's going to be, a profession.
Yes.
Basically, how it started, it was back in 2004. My
Hmm.
uncle, Blue, something that I never asked for, he gave me a camera for
Okay.
Christmas.
Okay.
So I didn't know what to do with the camera. I figured, well, since my aunt is here to visit from Canada, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and just film her around. So I
Hmm.
used those images and I did some editing and I show it to my family, my mom, my sisters, my grandma, and they
Hmm.
loved it. And that's
Okay.
pretty much where it all kicked in. I say, you know what? I would like to kind of bring out this talent that God gave me because I knew it was a talent, but I just didn't know how to bring it out of me.
Yeah.
So when I got the support from my family and friends, that's when I decided there's something special here that God is trying to show me, and that was my first start.
Hmm. Interesting. So, how it started with your aunt, and then how long have you been doing this? Did you go through any special schooling? Did you? I don't know.
So after my aunt,
Hmm.
I started doing some This was when YouTube was new, back in 2006. A lot of
Okay.
people didn't know YouTube. So what I used to do is I used to upload a lot of videos on YouTube. And
Hmm.
then 2010 in my church, there's a lady that was getting married. So they were
Hmm.
looking for someone to film her wedding, and I was the first one to volunteer. I say, you know what? I've never done weddings before, but if you trust me on your wedding, I would do a good job.
That
She
was so
was
bold.
so she didn't trust me because I've never done weddings. I'm just,
Yes.
this 23-year-old boy with the camera. I told her, okay, you can go ahead and hire whoever you want, but can I just come in and just do my own thing? She said, yes,
Mhm.
go ahead. And once I did it, I filmed it. It was three parts of it. And once I showed it to her and I showed it to my church members, they
Mhm.
told me, this is what you need to do. And this is for my spiritual mother, Mama Anastasie. She told
Mhm.
me, this is what you need to do. I don't know what you're doing in school, because in school I was studying science. I don't
Mhm.
know which school, but I feel that God is trying to show you something here that you need to take it seriously.
Mhm.
And that my first wedding, that was my first decision. That it
Mhm.
was a life decision for me to make. So yeah, that's really how I got into the industry. That's where it started.
So how did you go? I mean, most parents, African parents, when they come, when they want to encourage their children to go to school, I haven't heard a parent say, "Go become a filmmaker." Mm-mm. It's
Mhm,
usually, doctor, lawyer. How did you
mhm.
convince your parents? Were they on board with your idea, or did you have to convince them somehow to let you go and do that, go from science to filmmaking?
Yeah, it took me a while, to be honest. It took me,
Okay.
I would say, about 2 years,
Okay.
but I want to make sure that before I tell them, I have something to prove. I have something to show, I have
Mm,
sample. So it wasn't just out of the blue, and I decided to do it. So they knew, with the videos that I was doing in the past, with the weddings that I've been posting on Facebook, they
mm-hmm,
kind of see where I was heading to. So
mm,
for me, telling the first person I told was my mom. She was the first
okay.
person I told. After I had a conversation with my spiritual mother, I told my mom, hey, mom, I know this is what I want to do in school, but I feel like filmmaking is a passion.
Mm-hmm,
It's a calling for me, and I would like
mm-hmm,
to pursue it. And my mom, she told me, well, since you were a kid, that was something you always wanted to do.
yeah.
And I'm like, "Ah, Mom, why didn't you tell me all this time? Why didn't you tell me that it was okay for me to do it?" And she's like, no, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. Follow your dream, listen to the voice of God, and just go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm,
So being okay with it and her being supportive, it just kind of opened up so many doors. And I
mm-hmm,
went to my counselors. I told my counselor that I would like to switch all my classes. So the classes that I was taking now were kind of film related, communication related, and so
okay.
on. So that was
Mm.
the end of me doing science.
Wow. So there's actually a major in filmmaking, like a bachelor, doctor. I don't know what is out there.
Yes. There's you can get into communication,
Okay.
you can get into journalism, you can get into media. I mean, nowadays there's actually more. There's actually
Okay.
more. There's a film school that you can actually go to, and that will be mostly just how to manage cameras, how to get your videos out there, your films out there. It's a big industry. People are making money, and if you love what you do, you wouldn't even see it as a job.
Very true. What you just said is very, very important because a lot of people just, go to school to make money and call it a job. I remember one time on my old job, I did a little survey and asked a lot of my coworkers um, how many of them love their jobs. They're like, literally 90%, over 90% of people didn't like their jobs. I mean, what they were doing for a living. But again, to have you and all the support you had, to go after a passion, calling that has upon you. I think it's to be encouraged. It's to be encouraged. So, what are you working on right now? Any project?
Yes. So right now, I'm still doing weddings. That
Okay.
is, it's actually my business part of it.
Okay.
Because being here in Atlanta, there's a large community, African community. There's a
Mm-hmm.
large Congo community, and I don't want to just do that. I want to kind of broad it out.
Okay.
So just continue doing weddings,
Mm-hmm.
and then right now I'm working on a documentary, which will
Mm-hmm.
kind of based on business owners, I have a barber who has a really good story. He's also from the
Okay.
Congo. I have
Mm-hmm.
a makeup artist by the name of Fallon. She has a great story. I mean, if you guys hear their story, it's remarkable. And,
Interesting.
and there's this other lady. She does catering. She's from the Congo as well.
Okay.
So if you see what I'm doing here, I'm trying to put my Congolese people on the map. So
Exactly. I
so
see.
that's really what I'm working on. It's a 2-year project.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna next week. We're gonna start filming next week and just go from there by God's grace.
Okay. So you've been in the business for a minute now. What kind of video productions are more rewarding than others? I mean,
To
from what you've
to
observed.
Yeah, to be honest, it's really not about that when it comes to the film industry.
Okay.
It's just a matter of what's in your head is for you to bring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Really, there's no such thing as drama is better than comedy or comedy is better than international. No, they all got their unique style. They're all bringing out their own elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like for me, for example, I like to tell stories that are related to me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's just the type of movies that I like. You can have
Okay.
someone else who likes to do action movies. That's just the type of elements they like to provide. So
Yes.
it's just a matter of what kind of story you bring in and how you tell your story. That's
Okay.
pretty Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty
It's all
much.
about how you tell your story. Now, you said it's all about what's related to you. Now, my question is, there's a thing as gospel music and gospel musicians and secular music and secular musicians. Would you
Yeah.
say there's a thing as, gospel music production? I don't know, filmmakers and secular filmmakers, or it's just, you know,
No. It's kind of difficult to see it. You got to have different perspective.
okay.
It's kind of like the Bible. When you
Mm-hmm.
read a certain verse, when you read a certain verse, and you
Mm-hmm.
will understand the way you understood it based on your experience,
Mm-hmm.
based on your religion experience, as opposed to me reading the exact same verse. I may see it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to filmmaking, you have someone who's doing a gospel movie. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Tyler Perry. We know
Yes.
Tyler Perry. He does a lot of church related. Now
Yes.
you can have someone else who's doing a film that is not considered gospel, but it can teach you more than
Mm-hmm.
what you saw from Tyler Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I watched a movie. It's called Sinners Wanted. It's about
Mm-hmm.
this new pastor. He's really young. He's about 30, 31, and he met this stripper who
Mm-hmm.
was looking for a path. She was looking for God. So then he brought her into the church, and then she completely changed her life. But she kept going to her old habits of doing drugs, of drinking. So she never really got the chance to change. So it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of tell you when you come to Christ, there's work that has to be involved. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's more than just coming to church. There's more than just praying. So that's how I saw that movie. And it's not a
Okay.
gospel movie. It's just a regular movie. But it teaches you more than, you know what? Being a church is work. You have to put the
Mm-hmm.
work in as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to Tyler Perry. If you just watch it because you're a Christian, you have to watch it. You may not get that specific message.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I totally believe and I totally agree that there is no such thing as gospel movie or secular movie. There's really We cannot really separate it. It's just the way you see it, have a different perspective on it.
Probably some of our viewers wonder, is this brother Christian? Because yours is like, a little ambiguous. Are you Christian? Have you ever met the Lord in your life? Or you're just whatever, I'll teach you what you need to learn.
No, I'm a Christian. I'm a firm believer of God. I grew up in church. I'm strongly involved in church.
Okay.
Right now I grew up in a community of Mont Carmel of Mama
Okay.
Anastasia in San Diego.
Okay.
So she's really deep into finding your spiritual status. She
Okay.
makes sure that young person, you set your foot on the ground,
Yes.
and also me here in Atlanta. I mean, the first week I was in Atlanta, I already had joined a church, my aunt's church, and
Uh,
at that church, I'm also involved. I film, I put our services on YouTube. So yes, I'm a true believer of God. True believer of God.
okay. So would you consider your filmmaking part of your way of serving God?
Oh yes, definitely, definitely. My films, the fact that they are related based on my experience, based on
Mm-hmm.
my story, it's not just something that I want to, just include the church just because I'm a Christian, or I just need to include a pastor because I'm from a church. My
Mm-hmm.
story, it just kind of opens up, a world to you. It just kind of opens up a different perspective on how you should see things inside
Yes.
out.
Yes.
So my films, I mean, I can do a church film, I can do a church film, but I want my films to be related more on my story, something
Okay.
that kind of to me. um like I had lost my father when I was 9 years old,
Oh,
so I never really got the chance to have that connection, have that relationship with my dad, you know what I
I,
mean?
I
And
see.
now I am a father, and I see how it takes to be a father. I see the responsibilities that comes to it. So
Mm-hmm.
it might come to a point where, you know what, I want to make a story about that. I want to make a story about a
Mm-hmm.
relationship between a father and a son, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So that's where I come from. That's where I come from.
I see. I see. Well, you're doing a good job having to deal with a father figure not present. I believe you came out right. And I know you're going to be a great dad as well. Now, filmmaking is a world of inspiration. You gotta stand out. We have people who are known through so many things they do. Some people consider those things a little too risque. That cause people to fall into buzz. You gotta share, you gotta see it, you gotta whatever, make believe stuff. Where do you find your inspiration? What do you do to stand out?
Honestly, I find my inspiration in church. I find my inspiration in church. Most of my stories, it's funny, most of my stories and my ideas are
Mhm.
usually when I'm in church, which is funny
Okay.
because I remember one time, me and my big sister, her name is Lilian, and
Hmm.
she came up with this idea.
Hmm.
We ended up doing it, we filmed it, and then we show it to the whole entire church. And then I thought about the idea. I said, you know what, this idea is very it's there's more into it that I would like to kind of bring out, and that's
Yes.
how I was able to do my very first short film.
Hmm.
And then also, just mostly all my ideas, even the documentary that I came up with, it was just
Yeah.
something I was just there in church, and then and it just came to me, it just
Hmm.
came to me saying, if you want to get into filming, you also need to reach out to different categories. And
Yes.
nowadays, we all know everybody's watching documentaries. That's
Yes.
the thing right now. So
Hmm.
if I have to do a documentary, what would it be on? And I
Hmm.
just there just thinking and thinking. So I mean, honestly, most of my ideas they either come either I'm in church, or if I'm watching another movie,
Hmm.
or if I'm driving. That's another
When
that's another
driving.
one.
Okay.
Yes, that's another
Mm-hmm.
one. I spend more time praying in my car than I
Mm-hmm.
do at home, because I
Mm-hmm.
felt like being in my car, there's a connection. You don't have anything else, you don't have any distraction. It's just you driving. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, praying, when it comes to praying, you don't have to close your eyes. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to be on your knees. It's all
Right.
about what you're saying in your heart, what comes out of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time when I'm in my car, I just feel like praying. Something would just come to me, and I'll just pray. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm in my car, I'll just sit there and the idea just comes to me. So that's another place where I get my motivation from.
Okay. What temptations did you encounter as a gospel filmmaker? I mean, it's clear. Some videos, shot and filmed by secular people are known. They have some symbolisms, things that are known particular to those people. What about you? What temptations did you encounter?
I mean, I never had any temptations. It's just that I'm a strong belief in what I need to show people and
Oh,
what I don't believe in. You know,
mm-hmm.
for me, because you know what they say, is sex sell, and that's
Yes.
like the slogan of Hollywood. I don't believe in that. I believe that I can spend 10 years making 200 movies without showing one person's body. I believe I can
Mm-hmm.
do that. You know,
Okay.
uh, stories doesn't have to be about sex. Story doesn't have to be about killing and all that. No, stories sometimes can just be a family story. It can just be a feel good story, something that
Mm-hmm.
relate to your story or relate to family members that's going through a lot. Believing
Mm-hmm.
in miracles, that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
When they say God has the last word of your life.
Yes.
Why don't we make a story about that? And that's the thing I always tell people is, how when you have a Bible
Mm-hmm.
and you have a verse,
Mm-hmm.
and out of the verse, because you can read the whole chapter of, let's say for example, we have Psalm, you have
Mm-hmm.
Psalm chapter 10, and you want to preach on that, you can go ahead and read the whole entire chapter and preach on it. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same, you can only take one verse out of that chapter and make a
Mm-hmm.
whole preaching about it. And you
Mm-hmm.
take one word, just one word out of that verse, go
Mm-hmm.
whole entire preaching about it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I believe stories should be. Stories should be, you think of something and then you just want to get a tiny little element out of it and make a
Mm-hmm.
whole story of it. And that can
Mm-hmm.
touch someone's life. So it
Yes.
doesn't necessarily have to be about killing and sex and drugs. No, it can just be a feel good story, something that you can relate and you can watch it with the whole family. And that's where I come from.
I see. I see. Well, come on, bro. You make it seem so easy, as if it's all good. You've met only good people. It's smooth for you. Spill some things. Tell us how. Can you just tell us some of your hardest clients? Don't tell me people are doing all good.
Hardest clients, I had some hardest client.
Okay.
And as far as the business, now this we're talking business wise.
Mm-hmm.
um, I had difficult clients. I had clients where they kind of want to diminish your work. They don't respect your work.
Okay.
Recently, and I'm just gonna share it because for me it's a testimony. Recently,
Mm-hmm.
I had a lady who called me, and
Mm-hmm.
she was doing a wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave her my price. After I gave her my price, she calls me and she tells me that I'm too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I should be charging that much, and that she knows there are other people that can charge for less.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was trying to help the lady. I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
help the lady, and I told, okay, you know what? This is my price. I'm not changing my price, but I can work with you. What is situations? And she told me my situation, and we had an agreement on a
Mm-hmm.
on a certain price. So as I'm getting ready to, get everything ready, she calls me again and she said, "No, that price is still too much. I need you to lower it again."
Mm-hmm.
So you will always have people like that. There's people where they only see their benefits. They don't respect your work. That's
Yes.
how I see it. They don't respect your work. They wanna give you their price and they want you to agree with it. And as a business owner, that can affect your business because
Yes.
she's gonna go and tell someone else that, hey, he only charged me this much,
Yes.
and so you to convince him. And there are people like that. And the
Mm-hmm.
sad part, I'm gonna tell you, I see that mostly in Congolese community.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yes. And this is what really hurts me the most because
Yes.
you would think that your Congolese people are the one that should be helping you. They should
Yes.
be the one to encourage you.
Yes.
I give you a price just respect the price, you know.
I,
And if that's not what you want, then just tell me. Say, hey, I know that's your price, but I cannot afford it at the moment. I'm gonna find someone else. But you cannot just go off on me and
mhm,
say, oh, you're so expensive, brother. I can go and find someone else that can do better than you. And
mm,
I hear things like that from our own people, and it's really sad.
mhm,
It's So this is just what we encounter as a business owners. This is something that we have to deal with. But my thing is, one advice that I would give to filmmakers is to always believe in what you're doing,
yes.
because vision, you have the goal, you have a mindset, you have a
Mhm,
target that you need to reach. Go for
mhm,
it.
I
Because a
see.
lot when they feel like they're not respecting your work,
Mhm,
you might see it as a discouragement. Do not
mhm,
accept things,
mhm,
because the people that have told me no before are the
mhm,
same people that are calling me today.
mhm,
Those are the same people that, they like my videos and they're sharing my videos because
mhm.
they see that I am continuously doing what I love. So
Improving,
that's
yes.
I
Mhm,
will have to filmmakers. Do not give up. Do not change for someone. Definitely
mhm,
not. And
mhm,
just have a mind, solid. Just have a mind
mhm.
solid and say, this is what I'm reaching out.
Yeah. So, but there's a young filmmaker somewhere watching us who's asking and wondering, is this business able to make ends meet? Would you say that? Is it that rewarding?
Yes, definitely. It's a matter of how you do it. So when you have a business, like this one,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that you have to understand is, you have to understand the industry first.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Yes.
learn the business. You have to know the ups and downs.
Yes.
And based on your character, based on your background, you have to tell yourself, am I going to be able to handle these situations? I had a friend, he's from church. He did everything in church, and all he wanted to do was church related movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to school for it. He was hanging around with the crowd and all, but then he
Mm-hmm.
realized the downs of filmmaking, to the point where it changed him,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually. It changed
Mm-hmm.
him. So he wasn't really into doing church movies anymore, and now he's doing movies that are out of his character, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that you always have to keep in mind. It is a good industry, it's a
Mm-hmm.
good business, especially like I said earlier, if this is what you're called for, that's your calling, you
Mm-hmm.
have to go. You have to go for it. Because I
Mm-hmm.
strongly believe that when God gives you a talent and you don't use it, He can take that
Mm-hmm.
away from you.
True.
I really believe in it, because it's one of those things where if I give you $10,000 to start a business, and it's been 5 years, you haven't started any business, guess what? I'm gonna take that money back and give it to someone who can start a business and make me rich.
Mm-hmm.
So if God gives you a talent, brother and sister, you have to use it. You have to use it. You have to tell yourself that this is what I was meant to do. And
Mm-hmm.
the more you learn the business, the more you will see that it's not that hard. You just have to know what you're doing and just keep doing it.
You just mentioned about the dangers of being, a filmmaker and just doing gospel related movies. Would you give us a couple of
Mhm.
dangers?
If gospel movies are dangerous.
Yeah, you just mentioned that your friend, got changed in his inner being for after doing, you know, filmmaker, after making movies related to who he is. Would you tell us a few dangers?
Oh, no, 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 no. It's not. Situation with him, it was that he all he wanted to do was do church movies. But then the
Mm.
fact that he did not take the time to learn the industry, to
Okay.
see what's really out there, it just kind of switched. he went to a path where he doesn't belong there. He started
Okay.
doing the opposites of what he was meant to do. And there
Mhm.
are people like that. It's just the
Okay.
same thing in music. A lot of those musicians that we have now, Beyonce, Whitney Houston, they all started in church. And
Mm-hmm.
then they started making money, they realized what Hollywood is all about, then they leave the church and they start doing something else.
True.
But if you really take the time to understand the industry and see the ups and downs, you will prevent yourself from so many things. And you basically allowing God to show you the path, to show you the danger, and then to kind of lead you the right way. And I'm
I
very thankful that we have Pure Flix. I don't know if you're
see.
familiar with Pureflix.
Yes. Yes.
I love Pureflix so much that we all know it's all gospel in there, but you kind of stay in that lane. You
Yes.
stay in the lane. Okay, this is what I'm doing, and I'm gonna keep doing it, as
Yes.
opposed to doing Hollywood movies. It can kind of lead you to a different path. You know,
I understand.
so yeah, so that's the thing about this film industry. There's a lot of ups and downs. You just have to take the time to know it. But if you don't want to get involved in that, Hollywood stuff, you can just do your own thing. Just do your own thing. You do your own production like I have now. My goal is with my production is to
Mm-hmm.
just make feel good movies. I want to
Mm-hmm.
make feel movies. I want to make movies that can touch your soul. It can talk to
Yes.
you directly, something that you
Mm-hmm.
can relate. And
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily have to be in a church at all the time, because you know my story can also be considered as a gospel movie.
I
So
see.
that's what I'm from.
Well, how can we support you as a community? You say something that, I mean, it's a shame that we're the ones part of your community. We were putting your prices down instead of tipping you and supporting you. Beside that, how can we? I mean, some people don't know how to support a fellow brother. Would you tell us how to support?
Supporting, there's so many elements to it.
Yes.
Today I'm making a movie, and I'm asking you guys to come and see it, right?
Hmm. Yes.
A lot of people may not even come and see it,
I see.
because they think that it's just a waste of time. They think that you trying to make money off them, so they rather not show.
Yeah.
Supporting is just being there when the person needs you.
Okay.
That's what it is. It doesn't really have to be about money. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be, sharing my videos. It's just being there. If today I hear that, because my brother Tito,
Hmm. Hmm.
he's one of the others, and he recently just made a movie in Congo, and I watched it and I really enjoyed it. I even call him and say,
Yeah.
hey, you really need the courage, because it's not easy what he just did. It's not
Yeah.
easy.
Hmm.
Tito went to Congo, and before he went there, he already had an idea of making a movie. So he came
Hmm.
ready and prepared. And with the circumstances that's going on back home, he only had 10 days to make that movie happen. And
Yeah.
he was able to accomplish it within
Hmm.
10 days. And I mean, the story was there, everything was there, but just the fact of him just making it happen, that motivated me a lot, to the
Hmm.
point where I called Tito. I said, Tito, do you realize what you just did? Like, you may not realize it, but I'm telling you, what you just did, it just
Hmm.
opened so many doors. It
Yes.
opened so many, to the point where it's still motivating me right now. So
Yeah.
that's the support that we need. That's the support that we need. If a brother is making a movie and he wants to show it to everybody, it only takes few hours to just show up and just be there for the person. You know,
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes as a Congolese community, we lack that. We really do, and that's why we don't have enough content on Netflix. If you go on
Yes.
Netflix right now, you're not gonna see Congolese movies. You
Is
might
it
see
you? Yeah.
few. You might see few Congolese documentaries. Like I was watching one, it's called Joy City,
Yeah.
about the women's that are being mistreated back home.
Yes.
But when you
Hmm.
go on Netflix, all these Nigerian movies, that should tell us something, you know?
Yes.
There's more
Mm.
Nigerian content on Netflix, on Hulu, on Amazon Prime than Congolese. Why is that?
Mm.
Is it because we're not supporting our brothers when they're doing something? Or is it because we just, I don't know, but we need to change that mindset.
I guess because we used to Maboke more, Maboke than the new way of doing things with your movies and stuff. Well, thank you. We'll keep that in mind, and I believe someone watching us is taking notes. We need to change. So,
Yeah.
how can you help a parent who's who's dealing with a child who wants to go into filmmaking? But again, they still have that stereotype toward filmmaking and all these production movies. It's a shaky world. You
Mhm.
depend on some views and some clicks, and people willing to enjoy what you're doing. What would you tell that parent?
Yeah, as a parent now, I'm seeing it's not easy
Mm-hmm.
because now that I have a son, um, I at this point you don't know what your son will be or wants to be when he's in high school and he's in college. You just have no ideas. So the thing that I'm doing right now to just kind of found a foundation for him is just
Mm-hmm.
to put him in God's hand, you know.
Yeah.
And every time I pray with my son before he goes to sleep, I always make sure I say, God, whatever he's going to decide in life, I want you
Yeah.
to just help
Yes.
him take control of his decision, take
Mm-hmm.
control of his future, because we
Mm-hmm.
cannot parents we cannot be 24/7, but we can be there, mentally. Now,
Yes.
as far parents, African parents, now I'm noticing that there is a new generation of parents. You
Yes.
know, this new generation of parents now they're understanding that kids can be anything that they
Mm-hmm.
want, as opposed to previous generation. Previous
Yes.
generation, we didn't have what we have now. We have easy access to internet. We didn't have easy access to you know deliveries in Uber. So our parents always had this thing where you need to have something where you can make money, because
Mm-hmm.
money is going to secure your life, is going to secure your family, which is good. I don't have anything against that. But with this generation, we have so many professions. We have
Yes.
so many outlets. We have so
Mm-hmm.
many platforms that our kids are going to be using in the future, and we need to accept it. We
Mm-hmm.
need to accept it, especially when that's what they want to do. We have to support them. We
Yeah.
cannot just hang out with this stereotype that our previous generation had for this new
Yeah.
generation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
think you have little kids that are 7 years old, 10 years old, and they're millionaires because they're posting something on YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't even 15 yet. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you wrap your mind around it? Can you
I know.
imagine,
I know.
being 15 years old back home and you're a millionaire? I
Hmm.
mean, just think about it. So it's just to show you that we have this new generation is it gators, I call
Yes.
them. They
Mm-hmm.
are go getters. They think about, how can I come up with an idea, and then they just act on it. And as parents, we have to support it. You know,
Yes.
we have
Yes.
kids that want to be actors. We have to
Mm-hmm.
let them. You have to show them the path. You have to show them the ups and downs so they can make their own decision if they want to do it now. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
against that they said, no, I don't want you to sing. No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to be this because that's what I believe in. No, 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 no,
Mm-hmm.
no. What about what is God's? Because God be talking to that kid, you know.
Yes.
So that's my belief on that. That as parents, we have with this new generation, if your child comes up and say that I want to be whatever it is, you have to encourage them, show them the ups and downs as
Mm-hmm.
parents,
Mm-hmm.
know that these are the circumstances, these are the consequences that you might face. But at the end, you have to support them when they make their decision.
I understand. Well, there's someone in need of prayer, someone would like to receive Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior and doesn't know how to go about it, what would you say? How can you help such person?
Is just to keep them in prayers. I know it's kind of cliche to say
Yeah.
it, but that's the only way I can see it. Because prayers moves mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer does miracles. Prayers can break barriers, and I believe if you just take the time to pray for that person, that person, it can change the person's life. And I truly believe in prayers, because there've
Mm-hmm.
been situations where I want to do something, and I felt stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I felt stuck, and through prayers it just kind of opened up the doors. Even the documentary that I told you that I'm working on, this is an idea that I had for years. I had this idea, I would say, about 7 years, and I just didn't know how to execute it. I didn't know how I was going to break it down and how to do it. And now I see, okay, you know what, now I kind of see how I want to do it, and it just kind of open up a little bit, and that's through prayers. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. That's what I was saying, that as parents, we have to support our kids. It's very important, because that one little thing that your kid wants to do, it can change the whole entire family. It
Mm-hmm.
can change the entire family. Imagine if, like for example, Mark Zegenberg, the Facebook guy.
Yeah.
Um, Imagine if he comes to you and say, "Mommy, I want to do something called Facebook, social media,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to go to school. I want to drop out of school, but I strongly believe on that platform. I think it's gonna change the world." What would you tell him? What would you tell him, 10 years, if he was your child and he comes to you and tell you he wants to create a Facebook, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So if you encourage him, it can change his world. It can change his life. It can even change the whole entire family. And I strongly believe in that.
Yes, yes. And as you said, Papa, people need prayers, in case someone needs to receive Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior in their lives. You say pray for them. That's why I was asking you if you could do that prayer for someone who wants to receive Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, or whatever the Lord is putting to your heart.
Hmm. Yes, and I strongly believe in that. I strongly believe in, if you have someone who does not believe in the Lord, doesn't believe in, even praying, it's do not force the person. That's the wrong way to do it. Do not
Oh,
force the person. You just have to be present when they
okay.
need you.
That's
You have to be present. You have to follow up with them. You have to check on them as
yeah.
as you keep them in prayer, because if they're going through a tough situation, you will be the first person in their mind, and then they're gonna call you. And then most of the time they'll say, "Hey, is that okay if we can pray?" You
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Yes.
I've heard so many stories like that. It's like someone that just doesn't believe in prayers, doesn't believe in church, doesn't believe in God, and
Yeah.
they'll be this first person to call you and say, is that okay
Mm-hmm.
if you can pray for my mom? Is that okay if you can pray for my brother or my sister? Because
Mm-hmm.
they're desperate, need help. So you have to be present, you have to stick around. And after you do the prayer, they will see that the prayer is working, which is a miracle. And guess what? Now
Mm-hmm.
they're going to consider coming to church, considering praying without you even forcing anything. So I don't believe in forcing people. You have to come. You have to do. No, no, no. Let the person be, because one day God will do His work.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I mean, you don't even have to repeat. You just gotta have faith.
Okay.
Just have faith. When you have faith in you, you
Yes.
actually see God working in you already.
Yes.
Because faith can do so many wonders. It can do so many miracles. So
Yeah.
the person has to accept Jesus first. They have to have this faith that, with this prayer, um, God is going to work in my life. God is going to change my life.
Yes.
It's not just, repeating the words in the Bible or repeating what someone else is telling you to say. I don't think it has I mean, it might have some impact, but
Mm-hmm.
the most the strongest thing here is faith. Believe.
Believe.
That's what really is going to do a lot of things. So I strongly believe in that. Faith has to come first before anything else. Because even me,
Mm-hmm.
doing filmmaking, besides praying, besides the encouragement, the support that I got from the family, I
Mm-hmm.
had to believe in myself first, you
Yes.
know, because if I didn't believe in myself, I probably wouldn't even spend that money to buy my first camera. I wouldn't even, because honestly, it was so amazing when
Mm-hmm.
my uncle gave me his camera, something that I've never asked.
Yes.
Something that I never asked for that camera. I never asked for anything. He just went and told my aunt, say, here, give this to Eno. I'm sure he's gonna use it for something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was God using my uncle. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And
I see.
I took that element and I believed in myself. I said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna show people that I can do this. And the first person that I had to convince was my family. So once I
Mm-hmm.
got that support system from the family, I had to reach out to my friends. And
I
then
see.
once I got the approval from my friends, I reached out to the lady that was doing her first wedding. And then
Mm-hmm.
once I reached out to her, that's when the door opens. And I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do.
I
So
see.
I strongly believe in faith, believe in yourself. It's amazing what it can do to you.
Faith and believe in yourself. Thank you so much, Papa Ino. Thank you for having this time to be with
No
us. I
problem.
know you're a very busy man. For you to be here, I don't take it lightly. So we are extremely grateful, and we believe this won't be your last time with us. Thank you so
I hope
very
not.
much. Again,
Thank you.
you're welcome, Papa. Thank you so much. That was Brother Eno. For all those who were wondering, you know, what was it all about today was about how we all started. It's just a sample. It's just a sample of so many other young people who have many other amazing, testimonies about how they got into filmmaking. But again, today we just wanted to tell a young person out there to believe in themselves, just like Papa Inu said. You need to believe in what the Lord has called you to do. And if you're Christian, you need to remain faithful to who you are, your identity. And then for all our brothers and sisters out there who never received Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, you need to believe, first of all, that whatever you say, whatever those simple words that will come from you, just like Papa said, are worth the Lord want to hear them. The Lord want to hear them from you. You just want your faith. You want to know that you believe in what you're saying. Just tell him, Jesus Christ, I receive you as Lord and Savior in my life. Come and walk with me. Show me the way and don't let me walk alone. Walk with me and lead me into all truth. And welcome in the body of Christ. Again, today was Wanya with Lady Marilyne Keto. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify and all those platforms. We have an album out, King of Kings. Share this live. You'll bless somebody, a filmmaker in making. Thank you so very much. Until we meet again,